Adam, we're getting through our series looking at sustainability, and we've looked at sustainability in arable cropping, we've looked at sustainability in terms of business structures and performance, but I guess the way that most farmers have kept their businesses sustainable, certainly in the last sort of 10-15 years, has been through diversification. And your diversification obviously is very well known, but I know there's a big story behind it, so should we go inside and tell me about it?
Absolutely.
Cotswold Farm Park's 40 years old this year, and congratulations. Tell me how it began.
Amazing story, really. Dad was a very forward-thinking man. He had a passion for collecting rare farm animals as a hobby, like you might collect stamps, but because he saw them as part of our living heritage, and thirdly because he saw them as a genetic resource that we might want to draw upon in the future. And I'm delighted he did what he did, because we are using a lot of those old-fashioned rare breeds in modern agriculture today. And so he started a collection, and his business partner said to him one day, Joe, very expensive hobby you've got here, what are we going to do to help pay for it? So they decided to diversify and open the Cotswold Farm Park in 1971. His farming mates thought he was mad, thought that farms weren't an amenity, they were for feeding the nation.
Yep.
Locals were worried about tourists blocking up the roads in the Cotswolds. But he forged ahead, and it's been a huge success and a very important part of our business. And now lots of farms are diversifying and having second jobs and B&Bs and caravan sites. Red breed conservation is very important, and this is an essential part of our business.
So what makes up the Cotswold Farm Park? What can people come here and do, and how exposed are they to farming?
Well, we get between 70 and 80,000 visitors. They get to look at all our different rare breeds of farm animals. We've got about 50 different breeds of 7 different species. They get some hands-on, so they can hold a chick, they can bottle feed a lamb, they get to meet the staff who can tell them all about food and farming. They can see lambing, shearing, cows being milked. Quite a wide-ranging experience. And hopefully what they do is they don't only have a great day out, but they go away understanding a little bit more about food and farming and rare breed conservation. And if they can do that while having a good time, I think we're on to a winner.
So show us the next bit then, where you've got your information about modern practical farming as well as being able to meet the livestock.
Yeah, it's all about bringing the farm into the farm park, really.
Okay, so Adam, by bringing the farm into the farm park, what are the key messages you're presenting to people?
I think that the challenges that face British farming, I mean, here we're talking about the world population going up to 9 billion by 2050, and how we can produce food in a sustainable, sensible and responsible way. And so we're looking at tractors, cultivating, planting, fertilising, the resources we have, how we can do that and think about the environment.
So you're really putting a very modern commercial farming picture in front of people who may have come and petted some livestock, seen a cow being milked, but you're not hiding from them the commercial reality of it.
Not at all. And I really think that people need to become very connected with farming and see what we're doing, get behind the scenes. And the farm park is a lovely sort of face of conservation, but we want to see the real in-depth, dirty work we're doing on the land.
So how do you explain how sustainable it is when they see big tractors roaring along and fertiliser bags? How do you sell that message?
I think we're trying to tell the whole story. You know, farming has got a great story now. It's time to drop the barriers and open the gates and let the public in and explain what we're doing. And so they'll see pictures of the staff and the social aspect behind the people we're working with and work for us. They'll look at the energy requirements from the farm and how we try and balance those with environmental issues that we're up against, and how we can produce food responsibly in a sustainable way. And I think the boards tell a fantastic story, and that gives people just a first insight into it. So when they're driving around the roads of the countryside, they can look across the fields and just get a grasp of where their food's coming from.
Okay, so while the Cotswold Farm Park as a diversification is sustainable for your business and is part of making your farming business sustainable, you're also not losing any opportunity to explain why farming as a whole can be sustainable.
Absolutely not. And this is new to us, this area, and I think it's very, very important. I think we really realised that we were missing a trick. There was so many exciting things going on the commercial side of the farm, that to have a lovely farm park was one thing, but we really needed to tell the whole story.
Okay, Alex, so people diversify to make a business sustainable, but the diversification enterprise itself has to be just as sustainable if it's to be of real value, doesn't it?
Absolutely, yes, and sustainable in financial terms, and increasingly today with regulations and also where the market is going, sustainable on the broader environmental basis as well. That's considered, with any project, and farms have got a lot of assets they can use, and it's looking at what the best return can be made on those assets and researching the likely market for your diversification project, what requirements you're going to have to put in place to comply with obtaining your planning consents, but making sure it's something that's going to work and attract people. In the business, we've supported a huge range of diversifications across the country, and it will depend on geography. Very simple to say, predominantly office conversions in the south east. In the southwest and Cumbria, it's been more of the tourism base, whether it's self-catering, and then in beautiful areas like this, the Cotswold Farm Park being a prime example.